long as we
All right.
talk about high-powered sports cars. They are going to be part of the show.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Hey, and
No, I'm tracking. I'm feigning surprise because I forgot.
we didn't
about
plan
the
this, did we? That's right. There's Star Wars in the thumbnail, and there's Star Wars on both of our black T-shirts.
Yeah, that. I shit you not. We did not discuss this. So, let's just dig right into what CNN had to say. Oh, here's everything we know about the September 18th right-wing rally in D.C. There wasn't one?
I bet that's not the first sentence of the article, though.
Okay, so there's the headline from CNN. Before we dig into that article, so in theory, there was supposed to be a big rally in D.C. I don't remember anybody mentioning what the rally was for. Just everything I ever heard about it was there's going to be a right-wing rally in D.C. And yeah, did you hear anybody talking about how they were going to the big right-wing rally in D.C.?
I did not. And what's funny is, like, of course, we follow all of the appropriate material on social media, and even they were like, "There's a rally?"
Yeah, nobody knew this rally was happening, but it was widely publicized that not only was there a rally in D.C., but they were locking D.C. down more ahead of it because, of course, it's a bunch of crazy right-wingers, so there's going to be all this violence. Because let's not forget that the most armed demographic populace in the world had an insurrection on January 6th and nobody brought any guns.
Yeah. Yeah, the deadly insurrection in which only Ashley Babbitt was killed.
Yeah, in which only a protester was murdered by a hero. Oh my God. Dude, we haven't even talked about that on this show yet. Have you seen the interview with the cop that murdered Ashley Babbitt?
No.
Oh, okay.
Right, different rabbit hole.
No, it's not. Because this is part of the same propaganda campaign that this right-wing rally bullshit was part of. This guy did the interview about what he experienced. Okay, go back and watch the video. She is visible through the broken window. She is clearly not climbing through it. The officer comes out of cover and we've seen the video now from multiple angles from the security footage within the building as well. But they suppressed that footage and held it back forever and ever. Most of the security footage is still not available. But between the raw footage shot by somebody with a cell phone near her as it was happening, and the one angle we've seen down the hallway, she's clearly not climbing through the window. She's in a crowd where there is a broken window, and this hero cop, you can see her hands clearly. He stuck his head out. He did not shoot to kill her. He chose to fire into a crowd. And those are two very, very different statements. This guy has made the rounds now and done his interviews, and he's a hero. He said he was very clear that if he hadn't shot that poor girl in the face, that other people would have died. He saved this is a quote, countless lives by taking that action. So there's no contrition. He does not in any way feel sorry for what he did. He is proud that he murdered a pretty little white girl, Air Force veteran.
See, there you go.
He is absolutely, he is hard as Chinese algebra over having put a bullet in a pretty little white girl.
So
that
David
made
Chipman
his
are friends?
millennium. So yeah, he's basically Black David Chip.
Yeah. So good morning to Patricia, Jamie, Steve, Highlands Heskey, Krista, and Biscuits and Gravy. Still one of the absolute best social media handles of all time. Like, can't believe I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Well, Biscuits is stuck in California, so got to maintain them roots.
Okay, can you even buy pork in California anymore? Because that's how you make proper biscuits and gravy. It starts with pork.
Right, but of course it's a Sharia country.
I see what you did there. Hey, look, and we have both the Steves. Good morning.
All right. And so the
rally.
It's not just that
rally.
nobody said they were going. Every major conservative pundit, entertainer, every conservative with a large platform was clear. Don't go to Moab. It's a trap. It's a trap. Right? And I mean, y'all saw the thumbnail. Here we'll look at this image instead. Same image, different gag.
Yeah.
Damn it, Steve, you had to make a comment right when it would cover up the top of my thing.
Yeah. Doggone our fans for engaging in engagement that actually...
Select all squares with Fed. If there are none, click skip. I mean, come on, guys. Like Cameron said earlier, the three in the very front, that's just like you go into the barber and say, hey, I'll take cop haircut number 1, 2, or 3.
Right.
I mean, they're even all wearing... They look like they're all wearing issued sunglasses. Like these guys are even wearing matching watches.
See, and they've got a bit of a gut because the only drug that cops can do conceivably is alcohol, and turns out a lot of them lean on it. Because
Don't forget processed sugar, that white boy cocaine. That's why we drink our coffee black, people.
Yes. Yeah, and, we talk about this being a trap. Like, Trump issued a statement last week saying he wasn't going.
Right. So, yeah, the only conversation that moved around this rally from the right was, guys, this is a trap. This is an obvious trap. And let's be clear about something. We still haven't even read the CNN headlines, the CNN article, and we may or may not get to it. The FBI is notorious for this. Okay, Crowder went through a good list of these, and he wasn't even talking about this rally. He was talking about the Whitmer thing. So, relative to this rally, the Whitmer situation is just another great example of why the FBI is among, and by among I mean all of them,
right,
the federal agencies that need to be abolished. Now, unlike the ATF, the FBI was a constitutionally tolerable agency on its inception. The idea of the thing that the average American believes the FBI to be is a legitimate function of government. However, like the Whitmer thing is a great recent example. There was all this hullabaloo last year about the
plot to kill Whitmer and kidnap her and kill her and torture her, and oh my God.
Okay, so the two guys that are actually being charged are being charged with kidnapping and not murder, because everybody that threatened to murder Gretchen Whitmer, literally everybody that made overtures about murdering Gretchen Whitmer were FBI agents or informants.
Yeah.
14 FBI agents or informants involved in a plot to kidnap and murder Gretchen Whitmer. A plot which included 16 people.
I thought it was 12 and 14, but roughly 50% of the people involved were feds.
No, more than.
I thought it was the other way around, but...
No, like the vast majority of the people involved were feds.
Either way, when you're coming up on the
And
50% ratio.
And 100% of the leadership in that were feds.
Oh yeah.
100% of the leadership. Everybody that was coordinating activity, planning meetings, putting out information to, where are we meeting, what are we doing, X, Y, and Z. Everybody that was involved in procuring equipment, the feds conducted guerrilla training to teach these guys how to conduct an operation that included a kidnapping and a murder. And remember what I said at the beginning of this little diatribe. The two guys that have been charged are being charged with kidnapping because everybody that can be charged with attempted murder is a Fed.
Yeah. Yeah, and let's be real clear what we're talking about.
And
here.
this is just the most recent Fed trap.
Oh yeah, and let's be real clear what we're talking about here. The FBI has a nasty habit of doing this sort of thing. They find a target that's in some type of distress. They go to the target and they say, "Hey, you know what would make your life better? Committing a bunch of felonies." And the target's like, "Well, gosh, I don't know, maybe not." And then the FBI talks the target into committing felonies and then arrests them and says, "Whoops, you shouldn't have did those felonies. We're the FBI and we're awesome. We catch bad guys all the time." Not the Tsarnaev brothers, though, even though, even Russia warned us about them. You guys need to pay attention to these guys. They might be getting a little spooky on you. And the entrapment, when Chris and I were discussing this show, the thing that really popped out in my mind, this is the sports car reference, John DeLorean. The DeLorean, cool-ass car. We've all seen it in the Back to the Future movies. It's got the gull wing doors, whatever. But John DeLorean made a terrible mistake with that car. Did a little research this morning just to understand why his company went absolutely bankrupt. At the time, the average brand new car that rolled off the line was about $10,000. A Corvette was about $18,000. And the DeLorean was $25,000, and that's in 80s money. Okay, so that was back when money
when
was.
When the dollar had only been devalued to about 50 cents.
I was about to say, I was going to say 75 cents, but the joke still lands. Okay, so DeLorean's company is in debt some $17 million, and the FBI comes knocking on his door, and it's like, "Hey, we know you don't have a criminal record, but 50 pounds of cocaine and $24 million would solve your company's problems." And despite being convicted originally and sentenced to 10 years, DeLorean actually ended up beating the rap because it was such obvious entrapment.
Right.
And now look, I'm not saying agreeing to a 50-pound cocaine scandal is the correct way to solve your life's problems. It's not. However, when you have somebody that's desperate, that's at the end of their rope, where their entire life is about to get flushed down the toilet and they are going to be publicly humiliated, your risk-reward matrix changes to such a radical degree.
So I don't know the deep details on the DeLorean scandal. I'm tracking on the drug deal and the money and yada, yada, yada. But I want to know if at any point during that campaign, the FBI, the agents that got DeLorean involved and sprung the trap on him, if they explained to him, "Look, you're working for the FBI undercover so that we can bust somebody else." If they sold it as we know it sounds fishy, but you're actually doing your patriotic duty to help us bust a real criminal, right? And if that's the case, then that puts a whole other wheel on the wagon. We're talking about a radio flyer with 19 wheels. It's weird. It's sideways, and it doesn't work.
Yeah. I think the broader point, though, is the fact that the FBI has literally been engaged in this type of activity for decades. Steve is trying to win the top comment award.
I'll give him one for that.
Steve says, I'm not a big fan of cocaine, but I do like the way it smells. That's and Biscuits and Gravy says things go better with Coke. Ironically, I actually like a Coca-Cola with biscuits and gravy. You get the sweet hit to wash down all that savory goodness. That's
I don't drink Coke.
Well, you're not supposed to drink it. You're supposed to smell it. Oh. But no, the fact that they've been engaged in this kind of activity for decades, and look, and I pointed out like the Tsarnaev brothers, and then I'm blanking on the Pulse nightclub shooting guy's name.
I don't remember his name.
But it turns out
he was a bad guy.
Bad guy. But it turns out that whenever one of these domestic terror attacks happens, part of what comes out later is that, oh yeah, man, he's been on the FBI watch list for like 14 months.
Well, it's not even that he's been on the watch list. With the Tsarnaev brothers, the Pulse nightclub shooter, the kid that shot up, not Sandy Hook, Miriam, damn it, Miriam Sandman. The
Sandy Hook?
No, not Sandy Hook. Not Sandy Hook. The one in Florida where we got that shithead that you want to punch out of. David Hogg.
Oh,
that
God.
one. The shooter there, right? With all of these guys, it's not just that the FBI had watched them. No. In each one of these cases, the FBI had conducted an investigation based on a tip. Parkland, thank you, Steve. Based on a tip, right? So these people had been referred to the FBI as persons of interest, persons of concern, by people who knew them, right? Teachers, friends, family, who said this person is dangerous and plans to do something dangerous. And the FBI investigated them for a long period, for a year or more, and then said, no,
nah,
this person's not a threat.
Nah.
And then shortly after, like in every one of those cases, just a few months later, you had the Parkland shooting, you had the Tsarnaevs bombing with their pressure cooker, bombing the Boston Marathon.
Yeah, that was
the Boston Marathon. You had the Pulse nightclub shooter. They had all been vetted by the FBI and found to be not a threat.
You know, I saw a tweet this morning as I was kind of scrolling through things, and I'm blanking on the couple's name. It's the current story that's gripping the country about the fiancés that went on some cross-country hike, and the
van life chick?
And the boyfriend came back and has since disappeared.
And they found a body yesterday I saw that they had found a body, but it hasn't been identified yet.
Well, they're pretty sure that it's her, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's look, and it's a sad story. That's the kind of thing that, like...
Hey, who knows? They may figure out that the body's somebody else entirely, and she just greased him and is still hiding out in the woods. That'd be a twist.
But the tweet that I saw was the FBI totally knows the names of everybody that showed up at this faux rally, but they can't find the guy that everybody's pretty fucking sure killed his fiancée.
Well, I mean, the FBI can't figure out. Well, they can't figure out that they can send 90 agents to investigate the pull chain on the garage door.
The Bubba Watson noose that wasn't. Like, as soon as you saw a picture of that, you were like, it's not a noose.
Right. You're like, this isn't a hate crime. This is a snowflake. This is a... Oh, I see what this is. This is somebody who said, hey, I've got a skin color. I'm going to use it to steal some money because I'm a shitbird.
Yeah. And all 90 agents investigated all that real hard and discovered what we already knew.
How many people can you possibly need to send for coffee?
Apparently 90.
Well, 89.
How many FBI agents does it take to change a light bulb?
All of them.
No, you change the light bulb and we'll help you and then charge you with some federal crime.
Abolish the FBI. We have a janitor for that.
See, you could have let me finish my joke. I was going to say that they were going to charge you with some kind of environmental crime for improperly disposing of the old light bulb.
Oh, okay, same joke. So let's actually see what CNN's got to say about this, because and today I archived it. CNN, we're done giving you clicks for you don't get any more help. And Jesus Christ, look at these two beta men. I'm amazed to see that these betaristas don't have bitch biscuits. I'm not even sure those are men.
You ever just look at a picture of somebody and you know they walk around like they've got a half a corn cob shoved up their ass?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, these boys drink soy lattes and eat avocado toast.
Hey, avocado toast is good.
It is. When you make it in your own kitchen. For a reasonable cost.
No, man, you got to pay $12.95 for it.
Eat my ass. The September 18 right-wing rally in Washington, D.C. had brought a new wave of concern about more potential violence on Capitol Hill, as law enforcement prepared for a variety of scenarios. It ultimately took place with a crowd of a few hundred and without any major security incidents.
Hey, can I just point out that their preparations included rebuilding the fence? Because fences work on Republicans, but not on illegal immigrants.
You mean like the 11,000 illegal immigrants that are
under
hiding
that
under
bridge?
a single bridge in Texas?
Oh, they're not hiding. They're very obviously right there under the bridge.
That just might be what we have to taco about tomorrow. Because Biden has surrendered the border to the enemy. This right here. If this didn't scream trap from the get-go, when have you heard conservatives refer to an event as a right-wing rally? It's a MAGA rally. It's
Tea Party rally.
A Tea Party rally.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pro-life rally. It's a prayer breakfast rally. It's something like that.
Second Amendment. Like, it's
Second
always a
Amendment
specific...
there's a right-wing rally. Nope.
Collectivism is not a function of the right wing. The right wing might collectively agree on some issues, but collectivism itself, like this sort of, the point that Chris is making is really important. This big broad tent where it's a right wing rally, that's just not how we do.
Nope.
There's actually a big broad set of opinions on the right. That's one of the functions of the right. It's one of those things that's our biggest strength and kind of our biggest weakness. Like, it's real easy to get the left to march because, orange man bad. Okay,
right.
I'm there.
They don't have thoughts. They only have
they have
the
thoughts.
program.
They've just got other people's thoughts.
No, they don't. They only have the program. It's not even a thought pattern. It ultimately took place with a crowd of a few hundred and without any major security incidents. And we saw the pictures of the crowd of a few hundred, right? We got some video here.
Or we don't.
Or we don't. Okay, screw you, CNN. Oh, I see what happened. The video is not, okay.
The video is not archived.
This is a snapshot. This is an archived snapshot of the article. So that's actually just an image of the video thumbnail that they used. Got it. U.S. Capitol Police tweeted that there were a total of 4 arrests Saturday. The charges ranged from a probation violation to weapons-related charges. I bet.
Sure. Oh, the probation violation's probably accurate. When you're on probation, just about anything can violate it.
Weapons-related charges? Guys, there were no guns found on anybody on January 6th. What more need I say? And they were separated without incident, according to USCP. But overall, the event was peaceful. Of course it was peaceful.
It was mostly peaceful?
It was mostly peaceful. Everybody there agreed with each other because they were all feds. Capitol Police said about 400 to 500 people were in the protest area, including journalists. Okay, so you had somewhere between 200 and 300 feds and 100 to 200 journalists. Organizers had received a permit for 700 people and claimed some of their supporters didn't show up because they were afraid. Of course they were afraid. Because it was a trap!
Well, and look, the other thing, the 700 people, have you ever seen like a picture of a Trump rally?
What was the rally for? The Justice for J6 rally aimed to support insurrectionists charged in the deadly January 6th Capitol. You're a fucking liar. There were no insurrections where there was no insurrection. There were no insurrectionists where there was no insurrection. The FBI has had to concede that there was no previous significant organization of violence for the incident that occurred on January 6th.
Our fantastic...
This qualifier, this adjective, this adverb, deadly January 6th Capitol riot, one person was murdered by the police. The only reason that the January 6th incident was deadly is because your shitburger pig dogs murdered an innocent woman for no crime. The worst thing she did was enter a public facility as a citizen of the United States of America, where you cannot be trespassed without an underlying crime according to the law.
Well, and our fantastic moderator points out that the weapons charge was for the undercover cop that they stopped. It wasn't even a charge. But CNN's not concerned with getting those kinds of facts right.
Nope.
And look,
it says the vast majority of the 600 plus defendants were released shortly after their arrest. Only a few dozen were ordered to stay in jail before trial, and most of them were charged with violent crimes. No, they weren't. None of them were charged with violent crimes. The only charges that have been filed against these protesters have been charges like trespassing, right? And many of them have been held without bail for more than 6 months on, at best, a misdemeanor charge.
well, even if it's a felony, like, they're not even allowed to have a bond hearing? It's like, what?
And, okay, Jesus Christ, this just keeps getting worse. For the handful of non-violent rioters...
Federal judges said they're
Federal judges concluded that they were too dangerous to release. Non-violent rioters?
But meanwhile, the guy that helped that cop earn the Mag Dunk Champion Award, who had, like, dozens...
Oh, yeah, he didn't do nothing.
And he was totally allowed to get out of jail. And, try and murder cops.
Steve points out there need to be Sixth Amendment lawsuits. Absolutely.
See, and here's the other thing that should be the big clue. Have you ever seen, like, a picture of a Tea Party rally or a Trump rally, or, like, on the rare event that the right does rally, the right rallies, y'all. If something only has a few hundred people show up at a right-wing rally, that's because the town they went to's only got a couple thousand folks in it.
No, if something's only got a couple of hundred folks show up for a right-wing rally, it's because it's not a right-wing rally.
It's a Fed trap.
It's a Fed trap. If it's a legitimate rally, if it's a legitimate conservative rally, well, we've shown you the maps. This is a conservative country. This is a country that is conservative of the most liberal governing document in history. This is a country that is conservative of its freedom, its liberty, its prosperity, and its leave me the fuck alone, gummit. This is a country that does not have blue states, except for maybe Hawaii. It has red states with blue cancers. This is not complicated. And anytime there's a legitimate conservative rally, it's packed to the nines. And then when it's over, it's cleaner than when it started.
Yep. That is a fun. I went to the way back in 2010. I went to the Glenbeck 828 rally on the Capitol. There were hundreds of thousands of people there, and at the end of it, everybody picked up the trash to such a degree they weren't expecting it. The trash cans were overflowing, and so people were neatly stacking the trash next to the trash can so that we could at least attempt to leave the place cleaner than we found it. And that is how a lot of these rallies go. Whereas the left, man, well, hey buddy, if there's not bricks and pussy hats, it's not a left-wing rally. And Polytech, I'm going to assume that's Alex, says pay attention to how many of the outlets are going to use images from January 6th in their stories for this rally. That's a good point, Alex. Yeah,
we'll have to keep an eye out for that. But okay, we're up on time. This was a trap.
This was an obvious trap. Abolish the FBI. And though, if I had my druthers, the first one to go, Well, I wouldn't abolish.
ATF.
I was going to say the IRS. The Internal Revenue Service? No, you don't get a piece of my paycheck before I do. That's, the mafia does that. That's right. The mafia does that.
I want to agree. I would grease the ATF first. And quite frankly, I would incarcerate every ATF and IRS agent.
Well, at least the IRS has an amendment to the Constitution that theoretically protects its activities. I don't remember the amendment to the Constitution that says the ATF is okay.
Yeah, I don't remember either. It's is it the 17th Amendment? I think it's either 16th or 17th that established the power of the IRS. I don't remember anywhere in that amendment that repealed the what's that one? The Fourth Amendment. So every IRS agent is guilty of violations of U.S. Code 18, Section 242, violation of civil liberties under color of law.
But still, forget the FBI. If they're gonna do shit like this, if they'd rather arrest John DeLorean than the Tsarnaev brothers, what is the fucking point?
Well, I think if you look at the math, then the fact of the matter is that it's undeniable that the FBI is an anti-white ethno-supremacy organization.
Oh, so they
a
exist.
Violent one.
They exist to scare guys like you and I. Oh, okay. Well, I guess that makes sense.
No, that's not fair. They are the enforcement wing of an excruciatingly corrupt government. That's what the real problem is. Guys, I want to be a big rule of law guy. I want to be pro cop. Because in theory, what a cop is supposed to be, what a cop is supposed to do, is a noble, good thing. But I'm running out of faith that anybody can be a good cop anymore. I'm getting real short on faith in those institutions generally. Y'all be safe out there. Don't stick your toes in any obvious traps. And we will see you tomorrow.